Trump-endorsed candidates lost in the midterm, including?
I would say it depends on the district. I think there's a lot of varying factors. Redistricting happened, and that was based on the census that was pretty much pre-COVID. A lot of people moved out of those districts over the past 2 years. I think that plays a part. I think it's candidate by candidate. Sometimes one campaign is run really well, and sometimes one is not. But I would also say the media plays a big part. The media leans pretty hard left. And so when Republican candidates, when we run for office, not only are we running against a Democrat opponent, we're also running against the media a good bit of the time, and that's really not fair. So I think there's a lot of factors at play, and President Trump's win record is historic. Most of his candidates won. Very few of his candidates lost.
When I started watching this video, my first thought was, does Marjorie actually have some sort of humility here, and is she being a little coherent? And then she said the last thing about most of Trump's candidates winning, and yeah, same old Marjorie Taylor Greene. So I do agree with her here, though, in one sense, and I think this is important for Democrats going forward. This large picture that Trump has lost his touch and is unwinnable now that many in the media are talking about it is just not true, and it does us a huge disservice to buy into that narrative. Because yes, on the one hand, lots of big Trump names crashed and burned, Kari Lake being the latest and greatest of them all. But there's a point we need to consider in all of this. Trump's name was not on the ballot. For us who are deeply invested in politics, we know who the Trump candidates are without having him at the top of the ticket. But it's possible that a vast majority of voters don't know the down ballot names. So when they look at their ballot and don't see Donald, that might have contributed to them staying home or voting however they wanted in the moment, but not Republican. I know it's a cynical take, but I see these past midterms more as a holding off of the red wave than a complete evaporation of it. But then again, if you look at how their post-midterm strategy is playing out thus far, it's clear they don't have anything compelling as of yet.
When I was a Democrat in Congress and I introduced legislation, I always sought out and was able to find Republicans and Democrats who were willing to work together on actually solving problems. It's hard, but it can be done. It must be done. Now, I'm not advocating bipartisanship just for the sake of bipartisanship. It's really about coming together as Americans to work for the best interests of the people that they serve, us, their constituents.
What is clear is how energized voters were by policy issues, notably abortion rights, and even Fox News, who spent the months leading up to the midterms saying that the economy was all that mattered. They're eating their words.
They didn't do the Roe v. Wade reversal. That was the Supreme Court. So it would have been far better off if that hadn't happened.
Well, I'm glad that everyone's admitting that now.
I admit that, but I'm also saying it was worth it.
Politically.
I say it's
politically,
worth it.
when the decision came down, there were very few Republicans who were thinking that this was going to have the negative impact that it did, because they thought that everyone would just be comfortable with whatever states' rights means, and that people would just, go next door if they needed to have an abortion. Obviously,
well, your fear tactics work, Jessica.
There's been a civil war in the GOP since at least 2015, and in the aftermath of the midterms, it's clear that Trump's presidency did nothing to fill in that gap. Mitch McConnell is saying that he never even predicted a red wave, but here's the thing. The Civil War has nothing to do with Democrats. And while, yes, we love the soapy drama and the I told you so of it all, we would be completely wasting our time by trying to calibrate our approach through the lens of what's going on in the GOP. Like this Fox News clip showed, the electorate has spoken about the issues they care about, and Democrats have to focus on replicating those policy successes rather than whatever storm the right is going through on any given day of the week. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.